Marilyn Monroe marries Joe DiMaggio at San Francisco City Hall. Elvis Presley's first single, which was a cover of That's All Right, is released by Sun Records, and the first issue of Sports Illustrated magazine is published. The year is 1954, and this was the very first year of the Plymouth Belvedere as its own model. But before getting into all of it, I'm Jay. Welcome to What It's Like, the automotive channel where we feature machines that driving them is part of the adventure, not an inconvenience. History, specs, design. Be sure to stick around for the end because there's Would You Rather, name that tune, and at the very end, all the unused B-roll so you can see these cars in all of their glory. If any of that sounds of interest to you, subscribe and hit the bell icon next to it to never miss a video. Alright, a couple of announcements real quick. We are going to postpone Motorcycle Mondays. I bit off a little bit more than I could chew. We're going to move the engine episodes back to Wednesdays. Just to be clear, we are not stopping doing the Motorcycle Mondays. We are just putting it on hold for the moment because I kind of bit off more than I could chew. I've gone to lots of events this month, and there's a lot of cars in the pipeline, and at the rate that I'm going, I'm never going to get through all of the cars. With that said, heads up, there's a Salem is having a Concords event Saturday, July 13th at the Salem Golf Course. If you're free Saturday, I heard it's going to be a grand experience. I will be there. They're supposed to have 5 Duesenbergs and at least 5 Packard Darrens are going. Also, coming up is the International Hudson Meet up in Erie, Pennsylvania. It's going to be from the 23rd through the 27th of July. I think I'm going to go up the 23rd. So I hope to see you at either one of those events. And if you see me, feel free, say hi. 1954 Plymouth model lineup was broken down into 3 models. The Plaza was in the basement, followed by the Savoy, and all new for 1954 was the Belvedere, which was at the top. Plymouth offered the Belvedere from 1954 through 1970. The Belvedere was offered as a full-size car from 1954 through 1961, and then a mid-size car from 62 to 70. The Belvedere replaced the Cranbrook as top shelf offering over at Plymouth. It's important to note that Belvedere was used prior to 1954 as the name for Plymouth's hardtop body on the Cranbrook from 1951 through 1953 model years. 1954 was the very first year for the Belvedere as a standalone model. Belvedere is Italian for beautiful sight or fair view. The 1954 Belvedere could be had as a 4-door sedan, 2-door suburban wagon, 2-door hardtop, and 2-door convertible. 1954 was essentially a carryover design from 1953, so let's compare what follows. Because in 1955, styling would change drastically because they would bring in Virgil Exner. 1955 was the first year of the forward look. So let's compare 55 on top, 54 on the bottom, starting in the front. 2 totally different cars, but it's interesting to see where the styling went. The 55 has that longer, lower, wider look. The 54 looks rounder in comparison. Bloated could be a word, but it's not as bloated like the new cars are bloated. The hood is more pronounced on the 54 versus on the 55 it slopes down. Hood ornaments are also different. Single headlights on both. Turn signal / marker indicator lights are in the same location, but are different shapes. Both have single-piece windshields, but the 55 has more of a curve to it. Moving to the side profile, both have a round appearance or curved appearance. Two-tone on the 55 body, but the 54 has two-toned in the interior. Also look at the windshield profiles and vent windows between these two. The bumpers on the 55 fit closer to the body versus the 54, they stick out a little bit more. Moving aft, tail fins are parts of the bodywork on the 55, whereas on the 54, they just added stainless steel bits to the top of the bodywork. Tail lights are lower on the 54. The gas filler is moved from just under where the Plymouth script is on the 54 to behind the license plate on the 55. Jumping inside to take a better look at the dash and interior situation, which both are different. Which one do you like better? Let's talk specs. 193.5 inches long, 74.25 inches wide. It rides a wheelbase of 114 inches. It weighs 3,275 pounds. Price $2,280, which is equivalent to you spending $26,619.97 in the year 2024. Total 1954 Plymouth production was 463,148 units, of which total Belvedere was 150,365, and of that number, convertible coupe was 6,900. Moving on to engines, which there were two on offer. In the proverbial basement was the 217.8 cubic inch displacement flathead 6, 3.6 liters. It was good for 100 horsepower, 3,600 RPM, 177 pound-feet, or 240 Newton meters at 1,600 RPM with a bore of 3.2 inches and a stroke of 4.4 inches. Compression is 7.1 to 1 with 4 main bearings. When backed with a 3-speed manual transmission, 0 to 60 could be had in a brisk 19.7 seconds. It's still faster than a Beetle. 82 miles per hour is the theoretical top speed, while achieving an average of 15.2, maybe 20 miles to the gallon. Moving on to the biggest and baddest engine on offer that you could get in the Belvedere, 230.2 cubic inch displacement flathead 6, 3.8 liters. It's good for 110 horsepower, 3,600 RPM, 190 pound-feet, or 258 Newton meters at 1,600 RPM with a bore of 3.3 inches and a stroke of 4.6 inches. Compression is 725 to 1. When backed with a 3-speed manual transmission, 0 to 60 could be had 2 seconds better at 17.8 seconds with a theoretical top speed of 84 miles per hour while achieving around the same average MPG of 15, maybe 20 miles to the gallon. In March of 1954, Plymouth would finally have a fully automatic transmission of their very own, which was a 2-speed Power Flight from Chrysler, not to get confused with the high drive unit, which was still a semi-automatic unit. Still used a clutch. This absolutely stellar 1954 Plymouth Belvedere convertible is currently for sale at Classic Auto Mall, Morgantown, Pennsylvania, where they have this car as well as 900 other cars currently for sale at their location, which is in Morgantown, Pennsylvania. Anybody could go there, peruse their inventory in person, 4 hours of operation, directions, and to see more pictures as well as get the full scoop on this very car, be sure to click the link below after the show.
Let's talk styling. Starting with these headlights. Would you call that French? Because these headlights do sit back inside the bezel. So just look at how thick that bezel is. Also check out this piece here that protrudes. And then it wraps around to the side. Still protruded. Turn signals and or running lights. Bumpers. Just look at all of the stainless on this car as well. Bumperettes and or overriders. Everybody calls it something different depending on what region you're in. I love that Plymouth script in the front. There is a lot going on with it. Look at all the checkered inside there. It's small, intricate details like this that modern cars just simply don't have. Also, look at all the lines. Plymouth badge on the nose, hood ornament. The fenders are rolled behind. Check out those wire wheels. This car does have rocker molding. Also, this car is laser straight. I'll be the first to admit I am not the biggest fan of this color, but on this car, it looks absolutely incredible. And just wait until we get to the interior part for you guys to see that. Has an antenna on the driver's side, cowl vent in the center, windshield wipers that oppose. This car, being it's a convertible, it does not have drip rails, but it does have this drip ledge here for the vent window, which is really cool to see. Side mirrors. This part here has always captivated my attention. I guess you could call this a gravel guard. Stainless steel piece. This one has fender skirts. Notice how it's flanged up. Got stainless steel trim that goes around the convertible top. This one has a vinyl or plexiglass rear window. Look at these fins. Look at how they just kind of added that on. Brake lights, reverse lights. The bumpers in the rear have 4 overriders or bumperettes. Gas fillers right here with beautiful Plymouth script up here. While we're back here, this is a massive trunk with a full-size spare, which is bias ply. And the load force relatively low. It's just past my knee. Coming up and getting inside, this door has a nice quality feel to it, with painted metal at the top, texturized vinyl, smooth vinyl, and then texturized vinyl at the bottom, separated by bright work. There is the armrest and or door handle to pull the door shut, door handle to get out, window crank for the big window, and vent window. Just take a look at this awesome interior. It's hard to believe that this is a Plymouth. Coming down inside, the pedal box down here, high beam switch, clutch, brake, gas pedal, handbrake, overdrive. Here is what over the hood looks like. Here's what first person over the hood would look like.
On to the button switches and knobs, starting on the left and moving right. That switch there, I have no idea what that does. Headlights, windshield wipers, panel lights, hand brake, overdrive, amp meter, gasoline gauge, 100 mile per hour speedometer with odometer, oil pressure, coolant temperature, lighter, key and ignition, AM radio, heat and ventilation controls. The switch off to the left says air, but I'm wondering if that is for the blower motor, but then it would only be 1 speed. The top slider is for temperature, warmer to the right. The bottom is for ventilation, off, summer, winter. To the right is for the defrost.
Up above, you got sun visors And they are on the slender side. Look how slender those are. Oval rearview mirror in center with another slender sun visor over here for the passenger. Notice you could keep both sun visors down and it not interfere with the mirror. The convertible top latch mechanism is right there in the center. Just look at that door panel design in its entirety. It's hard to believe that this is a Plymouth. Also, check out the seats. It also has this texturized vinyl as well as solid vinyl. The split up front is different. It's like a 60-40 split. It's a smaller section on the passenger side, larger section on the driver's side. Ashtray right there. On to the glove box test. There's our test subject. Here is my hand for reference. Here is the glove box in question, right here in the center, which is real nice if you're sitting here as a driver. There's also some maintenance information. All right. So it does not fit. I'm sure if I pushed it down inside there, it would fit. I just don't want to lose my camera in that glove box because it is rather huge, but it does not fit. Getting in the rear, you just fold the seat forward like that. That's how much space you'd have to get back there. This is what the front looks like from the back. Let's take a quick gander at the pillar to glass ratio or greenhouse in this car. It is so nice in this car. It's hard to believe it's a Plymouth. This is what visibility looks like out the back from the back seat. It does not have a parcel shelf because this is a convertible, but there is extra storage space while the convertible top is in use. Let's talk seat back profile. It does recline and it does dip down a little bit back here. But with that said, I'm 6'2" and I still got tons of room. There's tons of space for adults back here. Creature comforts, because it's a convertible, it doesn't have coat hooks per se, but you could hang whatever you wanted to from the convertible top mechanism itself. So just take a look at that. There is no dome light either for the same reason. Doesn't have any armrest, but it does have this trim that continues around this part here. Ashtray. Everything that is found on the passenger side is found on the driver's side. There's an ashtray over here. The windows go up and down. This is how they operate. Look at how cool that is. I just think that's so classy. And so cool how it operates. A lot of engineering went into that, that's for sure. Coming to the under the hood section. Push that away from you. There is a secondary couch right here. Oh, it's heavy. Hood's super heavy. But that's all the higher it goes up. It's got dual horns in the front. Six-volt battery. So we put an Auga horn on this one. Generator sitting way down inside. Inside this canister is the oil filter. Coil. Distributors way down inside here. Flathead 6 with oil bath air cleaner. is a screen, I guess, to keep out any big bugs so they don't get sucked up into the ventilation and the heater.
On the positive side, different car. Like, when was the last time you've ever saw one? I think this is the very first time for me seeing one in the wild. Great two-tone interior colors with plushy seats, easy to read gauges with full instrumentation. This was the first year for the Belvedere. It just has a nice ring to it. As a standalone model, really nice seats and interior space with a big trunk. The engines are bulletproof against it. Both engines are super reliable, but don't expect to go very fast. Hood doesn't open that much. All right, now it's time for Would You Rather. Two scenarios today. In the first scenario, would you rather have a 1954 Ford Crestline Sunliner or 1954 Plymouth Belvedere or 1953 Nash Rambler convertible that was fully loaded with extra options and accessories and money left over? I'm going to leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free, pause the video. On to the second scenario, 1954 Chevy Bel Air convertible or 1954 Plymouth Belvedere or 1954 Hudson Jetliner. I'm going to leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free, pause the video. Now it's time for Name That Tune. First person to get both the name of the band and song title correctly, and the first person to do so will have their comment pinned to the top of the comment section. Good luck with that one. Watch, somebody will get it right out of the gate. Anyway, thank you all so much for coming out and watching this. If you'd like to get in touch with me, shoot me a comment in the comment section below. I read and answer all comments posted. I don't say that for self-worth. I just say that if you post a comment, I will definitely read it. If you would like to send me something more personable, you can always send me an email at what_its_like@yahoo.com. Thank you so much for making this a car community. I love reading all the comments too. There's a lot of information in the comment section. If you're new, you should check it out. Until next time, toodaloo. Okay, what follows is all the B-roll from the shoot. This doesn't have any sound, so if you want to play music, you can play music or you can sit in silence. I got to figure out a way to add music without getting copyright blocked. Enjoy.